Do you believe in unicorns? They exist. Got one right here. This is a TBS Fusion. It exists. It's right here. It's here. It's a thing. Let's go to the bench and check it out. So this is a TBS Fusion. This is a goggle module that is a collaboration project between 3 heavy hitters in the FPV space. It's a very anticipated project, and I am lucky enough to have one in my hands to show you right now. We have been waiting for this for a very long time, and it's finally fused together. So let's get you on a closer lens and take a closer look. Be very careful when you open this. We've got a SMA 90-degree adapter. You're going to want this for your Omni antenna. Also, this little guy, if we take a closer look at this, this is a external power adapter for your Fat Sharks. And as you can see, it's got 6 pins, and then your cable adapter, and then it's also got one through hole solder point. So many of you are looking at this going, well, why am I going to need it? And yes, the older goggles need to have the wire running across the front of them for the added power. The newer goggles, much like the HDOs, they are modded from the factory to have the higher power module bay. This particular module, if you're going to want the connectivity, in order to do that and run the module, it's going to need more power than the upgraded power. So TBS includes this guy with a ribbon cable to do that. So don't lose this if you're running like the HDOs. You're probably going to want this for the added connectivity. That feature is not available yet. It is coming with a firmware update. The hardware has it. So just know that. So also in the packaging, we get the unicorn. Now, pay very close attention to this. If we take this plastic cover off, set that aside, you'll notice here they have interwoven the ribbon cables into the module itself. So this comes out, and Good Guy TBS includes 2 cables. So if connectivity to one goes bad, if you somehow end up breaking one, you have a second. So that's good. We're going to put those to the side. And then we have the module itself. This does have a screen protector on it. So satisfying. So I just want to take a few minutes to go over the hardware, which was developed by TBS. We have our typical SMA ports for your Omni and for your patch antenna, or 2 Omnis if you want to do such a thing. Next we have our single joystick. This is a up, down, left, right, and a nice audible click for enter. Now if we flip the unit over onto its side, we've got our USB port. If you need to upgrade the firmware, this is how you would do it. You can connect right to the TBS agent. And if we flip it over on the back, so right here we have our external power, and if this black plastic piece looks like it's in backwards or upside down or something like that effect, that's because it probably is. I did screw with this earlier, and this piece came out entirely, and it is a royal pain to put back in. So just pay very special attention to this if you're going to be doing the ribbon cable. This is supposed to flip up, kind of a in this direction as opposed to a pull out like most of them usually do. And if this piece comes out, you're going to want a very fine tipped tweezers, and even these I felt like were just a little bit too big for the job. You have 4 very tiny little connectors that this needs to line up with. And again, I'm hoping that this isn't right. I think it is. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to go back to the video and I will annotate this, but as you can see, it moves around fairly easily. So you just be very careful with that. Okay, so in order to install this, like many other goggle modules, but if this is your first time, we have on the left side, or well, right side if we're looking at the front of the goggles, we have 9 pins here. These coincide with these 9 pins. We just line them up like this, and we're going to give a slight push, and you'll feel it just slide right in and then stop, and that's as far as we want to go. Next, we want to take our plastic cover, and you'll notice there's 4 little cutouts. Those coincide with these 4 little clips here on the 4 corners. So to do this, we want to line up the joystick and the SMA along with those 4 little indentations, and once those are in place, give kind of a gentle but firm press and it will slide right in and lock in place, and you'll get 4 clicks. You may only hear 2, and that is probably the best fitting module I have ever dealt with. Okay. So that's how you install them there. Again, if you are going to be using a lot of the connectivity, we're going to have to run the ribbon cable, and we can do that inside of the goggles. I am not going to do that today. I will do that in a separate video. If you're interested to see how that's done, there is a video already available. Link is right there. So I just want to go over a little bit more information about this device before we go ahead and turn it on and check out the menu system. This was developed by 3 heavy hitters in the FPV space. As spoken earlier, TBS designed all the hardware. The image processing was developed by BrainFPV. Many of you are now familiar with the BrainFPV Radix and the graphical OSD. There behind that, and the UI and the OSD was done by Achilles. So let's see what happens when 3 heavy hitters in the FPV space get together, what we end up with. This is a little bit different than most of the other modules that we have seen to date. This uses an active video fusion, giving the name, which is supposed to give us less breakup and more range. And it's also supposed to keep us from getting color deterioration or video desync. So I'm really interested to get this thing up, to get a quad up in the air and to see how this performs. So what sets this module apart from other modules is the fact that this is going to work via Crossfire. So if you want to change channels on your quad, you'll be able to do it with this module. It's just crazy. As of right now, those features are not available. There is an update coming that will activate all that. So before I power this unit on, I want to make a special note. Normally goggle modules, because they're a receive only type of deal, you don't need to worry about having antennas on the SMA connectors to power them on. You're not going to burn anything out. Now, this is a different animal. Because this has Crossfire in it, it is a transmitter as well as a receiver. So I do not suggest powering this on if you do not have antennas on here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put on just any old antenna that I can put on here that are going to be out of the way of the video. and my ability to show you the menus here. So I'm just going to grab just a couple of regular Omnis. This is not the suggested way of putting antennas on. So there's that. If I were to do this, I would probably do one to the side and one up, or what have you. I run the Mad Mushroom version 1 with a immersion RC patch, which is right here. I normally put this guy here, and this will sit like this, and this Mad Mushroom will sit vertically. But I'm just putting these on here just so they're out of the way, and I can show you everything here without plugging up the video. So there's that. So now I can safely turn this guy on and not have to worry about anything burning itself out. And typically, TBS does put protections in their systems that will allow the system to not burn itself out, but I'm not taking that chance. So there's that. It goes through a power-up cycle. Here you get a couple of blue LEDs to let you know about the antennas and their receiving signal. And I just want to make sure here we are recording. And I will show you an OSD. I'll put it right here as I go through this. And if you see that kind of clipping and is different from what I'm doing in the video, just know that the goggles are recording in one frame rate and my camera is recording in another frame rate. So there's going to be differences in the length of the videos once they're compiled. So just know that if this is chopping around and this is different, that's why. It's not because I'm doing something funny. It's just that's the way video works. This starts off immediately on the splash screen going to the channel and the band, and you can immediately adjust your band. Band is up and down, and channel is left and right. And not having to dig through the menu system, having that just the first thing that you do makes complete sense. There are other modules out there where you need to go into the menu system, or there's 3 different buttons or whatever. This just makes sense, one button. So for this video, I have shut off the beeping. There is a beep for every button hit, and it is maddening. And you guys definitely don't want to listen to it on a video. So to get to that, we're going to hit enter. We're going to go to settings, scroll up or down if it's not selected, hit enter again, then page up twice, and then here's sound. So if I turn it on, there's that beep. Now you're not going to get that beep when you're changing channels, which is great because we don't want to distract anybody. But in the menu system, there's that freaking beep. So settings, 2 up from settings, push it again, that's off. Anytime we want to go back in the menu, it's a left press. Okay, so let's see what this is capable of doing. The first thing we have here is matrix. Matrix is this guy. This is what they're calling the matrix. This shows us our band, our channel, and then it gives us this rotating splash screen. So within the matrix, we have A band, channels 1 through 8. We have B band 1 through 8, E band 1 through 8, F band 1 through 8, race band 1 through 8, L band 1 through 8, and then we have none. This is, as you can see, this is your favorited, and I have none set right now. So that's a look at matrix. Then we've got band scan. If we hit enter on band scan, it's going to go through and scan every channel, every band, and it's going to give us a list of the best channels and bands. I'm not going to let you sit through that. I mean, it looks like it's fairly fast through what it's searching through. It doesn't really tell you which channel or band it's searching. So like I see a couple blips there where it's picking something up. I don't have anything hooked up, so nothing's transmitting on these bands. So this is just spurious emissions that it's picking up. but it doesn't tell you what band or whatever it's currently searching. I don't know if that does that at the end, and I don't think you guys need to sit through that to see it. It's a band scan. So once we're out of that, we're going to go down. There's settings. So there are a lot of things that are in these menus that are not activated yet that will come with the next firmware. So things like Crossfire, I click on it and it goes right back to the settings menu. So like OSD types, if I click on that, it's going to go right back to the main menu. So if we want to hit calibration, we can calibrate. We have our sound off. We have our OSD on. We can shut that off if we want. And that's just to enter or enter. So that's just to look at the settings portion of the menu. Then we have a quad finder, which I'm going to turn this off pretty quick. So the way something like this works is it's got a couple of beeps that it lets out, but will allow you to fox hunt your quad if it goes down, as long as the battery is still connected and the VTX is still transmitting. So that's a nice feature. That's a subject for another video. So we have quad find. Next we have multi-lock. So the way this works is this is going to go ahead and scan the entire bands and find multiple channels that are turned on. Once it does, it will give you the availability to switch between those two channels, alleviating all the non-used channels. So at a race, that's going to be great, because say you got 6 guys racing, this will find 6 different channels, and then you can flip between those 6 channels and not have to worry about going through all this dead space, so you don't lose any of the action. Nice. To get out of this, press menu. So now we have the lap timer, and the way this operates, if we hit that, we're going to set the number of laps. If we hit the enter key here, it just changes that first digit there. I don't know how to change the second digit, because even if we just push and hold, it's 10, 20, or 30. There might be a way to change that smaller number, but I don't know what it is. So to change the number of laps, 10, 20, 30, you just hit the enter button. We're going to change our time per lap. I'm going to just push and hold that, and it will go through from 8 seconds to, looks like 21 seconds, 20 seconds. Next, we're going to set our RSSI. And you're asking, why do I need an RSSI in a lap timer? Because this is how this works. What happens is it will give you a bar inside of the timer, so that when you get to a closer RSSI, the one you have set, it will register as a lap. So we're going to want 100% RSSI, because with Crossfire, what are we going to get down to? Maybe 99? So yeah, there's that. But if you're using a analog system or something like that that doesn't use Crossfire, and this is going to go down to like 50 and then come back up to 80 or 90, set it for 80 or 90, and then when you get close, this will read as a lap and work it out. We set our tune numbers, same thing, just press the button here, and then once we're set, we can go to start. It's going to give you a countdown from 9. And then over here on the right, you can see this bar. This bar is an indication of your RSSI. This is going to go ahead and count up. As you can see, it's lap 1. It's counting up. And this is going to display your best lap once you have a best lap. We currently don't, because we don't have a quad hooked up. So there's that. To stop this, just hit enter, and it will bring you right out. And as you can see, we can go ahead and reset everything. Then there's auto lock, which is going to scroll through the channels, and once it finds one, it's going to lock onto that channel. That's your best band scan for if you are looking for just one channel and you want to fly, or one channel and you want to spectate. So that's how that works. So that is a quick look at all the settings that are available in this. And again, a lot more functionality is going to be added with the newer firmwares. But so far, looking good. Let's see if we can get a quad up in the air and see how this performs with the OSD. So, having ripped around with the TBS Fusion and the goggles, I can tell you the colors that I'm seeing on the OSD are definitely much more vivid. As far as like breakup compared to what I've been using, the Rapid Fire, I couldn't tell you without a side-by-side. I feel like it's better, but again, that's kind of like I want to feel like it's better. I can't give you an honest opinion without a side-by-side, and that video is coming. It's a busy time for me right now. I'm going on vacation. I got a bunch of stuff to do around the house, so I will get that video out to you. Just plan on probably on the order of 2 to 3 weeks before I can get to that. So there's that. But my initial impressions, I like it. I love the menu system. I love how easy it is to navigate. I like the one button. Like normally a device like this, when they give you just one button, it's awfully fiddly, and like this just works. They got it right. The right, left. I mean, it's just user intuitive. You do not need a manual. And the reason I say that is because there is no manual for it yet. I mean, this is a very early device. This is alpha firmware. So just know that if you do get your hands on it and some of the features are lacking, it's because that's in beta firmware and that's coming. So just know that that's a thing. A lot of us are lucky enough to get our hands on this very early. So know that's a thing. I am impressed with the unit as it is. And then there's more stuff coming. Thanks, TBS. Thanks. So if you enjoyed this video, click that thumbs up button. If you didn't, you can click the thumbs down button twice, if that makes you feel better. So what do you think about this module? Do you have your own? Are you going to be buying one? Are you confused at the menu system? Are you waiting for the manual? It's coming. Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't done it already, go ahead and punch that subscribe button because you only get to do it once and it's fun, and I'll catch you later. Peace.